What if I told you that the very essence of humanitarianism, the notion that we should extend aid and compassion to those in need, is often marred by irony? That in some instances, the world's most vulnerable individuals, refugees fleeing from conflict and disaster, are denied the very assistance they so desperately require. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, a small nation in the Middle East. Known for its ancient wonders and rich history, it's also a beacon of refuge in a region plagued by conflict. Jordan stands as the second highest refugee hosting country per capita in the world, with the majority of refugees hailing from neighboring countries such as Palestine, Syria, and Iraq. Yet delve a little deeper and a less welcoming picture emerges. For not all refugees are created equal in the eyes of Jordan's policymakers. Refugees from further afield, those from Yemen, Sudan, and Somalia, often find themselves in a precarious position. Due to a government decision in 2019, those entering Jordan for reasons such as medical treatment, study, tourism, or work are not recognized as refugees. This leaves thousands of asylum seekers effectively stranded. Without access to humanitarian organizations, work permits, or education, they are left to eke out an existence as undocumented residents. They live in constant fear of deportation, with returning to their home countries an unthinkable alternative due to ongoing conflicts and risks of persecution. The irony here is palpable. A nation lauded for its humanitarian efforts, yet withholding aid from some of the most vulnerable. The government of Jordan views registration with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees as exploiting the visa system, leading to limited access to humanitarian services for these asylum seekers. The legislation and national funding mechanisms for refugees in Jordan predominantly focus on Syrians, leaving non-Syrian refugees at a disadvantage. The Jordanian authorities have used deportation as a tool to lessen the burden of hosting refugees, despite Jordan not being a signatory of the 1951 Refugee Convention. The situation for these non-Syrian asylum seekers is challenging to say the least. With limited access to basic services and the constant fear of deportation, their plight often goes unnoticed. This is the irony of humanitarianism. While we celebrate the concept of aiding those in need, the reality is often far from the ideal. But we have the power to change this narrative. By educating ourselves about the complexities of refugee acceptance, we can begin to challenge the status quo. We can advocate for policy changes that ensure all refugees, no matter their origin, receive the aid and protection they need. So I implore you, delve deeper into this issue. Understand the nuances and complexities surrounding refugee acceptance. And when you do, use your newfound knowledge to speak up for refugees, to challenge unfair practices, and to push for a world where humanitarianism is devoid of irony. Only then can we truly uphold the principles of compassion, aid, and refuge for those who need it most.